Do you feel like your solos are a little boring, a little bland, or you're just not saying the things that you want to say the way that you want to say them through the guitar? Let's go through 3 easy steps to change that right away. Don't know, my name is Ryan Gahn. I've been helping guitar players for over 2 decades, really bridge the gap between the creative ideas, what they're able to play, becoming fully fretboard fluent. If you would, hit the subscribe and bell notification to get more videos on how to make your guitar playing better. What we really need to do, first and foremost, is the step 1, is we need to understand what we're saying. Now, the concept I'm going to give you is just going to be in our minor pentatonic or a minor blues in an A. This extends to all of the modes, right? Phrygian dominant, as crazy jazz theory as we can get into our altered dominants and half diminished scales, etc. But we're just going to start at the very basics. And this concept is going to be, in my minor pentatonic, I have my root notes. That's going to make me feel nice and settled. And then I'm going to play some phrases that end on notes that are not the root note, particularly the notes that are right next to the root note, which is my flat 3 in the scale or my flat 7 in the scale. I'm going to dance around those, dance around the root note, before I land on the root note. This is going to add a little bit of tension, a little bit of an emotional arc, and then bring it down to the root note. I will give you a couple of examples really quickly. See if you can hear it. Now, 2 things that you can do are first going back and listening to those examples, and you can see up at the notes that I'm ending the phrases on. That's the most important part, and see if you can hear. Okay, it's close but not close enough to that home bass root note feel. And can you tell that that flat 3 does give us a little bit more tension than when I landed on the 4 of the scale? If you can't, that's fine. Now, if you can start putting that into your own playing, are you able to hear that tension, feel that tension? The feeling is more important. You're able to feel that tension and feel that release while you're playing. This becomes very, very important. When we're learning other people's guitar solos, this is layer number 1. Especially in the Fretboard Fluency mentorship program that I have, is number 1 is you're not just learning the tab. You're learning specifically why they're hitting those notes over those chords. So in the very beginning, it's all just going to be minor pentatonic because that's going to be the first step. So now, can you hear that? Can you feel that? We want to be able to feel it. That is what we love about our favorite guitar players, is they are conveying a feeling, an emotion, and that's what we are picking up on. That's why we want to play to do the same. What happens here is now the next layer is, how are they playing those notes? Because if I give this same phrase, let's just say, I don't know, I have like a little Eric Clapton like phrase, right? Now he knows he's going to land on that root note. If I were to, who knows, maybe give it to Stevie Ray Vaughan, and it's going to be, right, a little bit more of that. Maybe if I give it to like an Albert King, he might add that blues note in there. Maybe even start on the flat 3. All right, so now this becomes really great. We can start adapting what we like about certain guitar players to pull into our own voice. This is incredibly important. So it's like, I'm learning Spanish. Do I want to be a professor? Like, is that why I need to learn Spanish? Do I just want to kind of like hang out on the beach in Barcelona and chat about music? Whatever it is that I want to do with that language, I'm going to adapt that from the people that I'm listening to and want to be in that community, right? So might be a little bit lofty, but that's what you're doing. You have a community of your favorite guitar players, and there's things that you like about each one. So, if Slash has a very, very, very legato way of playing it. Maybe I want to cut it off. There's a lot that we can do there with cutting the notes off, staccato, legato into the notes, making it a little bit more flowy, which notes I'm playing forcefully, which notes I'm pulling back on, and then the rhythm of the notes. If I know that that's going to bring me a little bit more tension, I can definitely see, well, first, maybe a little bit more forceful. That's my tension. I can land on that note and hold it out a little bit longer than maybe a B.B. King that might give that note away a little bit sooner, He might do it in a little bit more of a major key way. Right, might be something a little bit closer to his phrasing. So now, because we know what we're saying and we're going to start understanding how we want to say it, we can start adding notes to it. That is the third step here, is not just playing as a resolve, or if I want to add a call to it, a tension. Millions of different ways that I could play it. Maybe I want to drill into that. I know that that's my tension note before right? Maybe I don't want that much tension. Cut it off. And I want to go right for that. That sounds a little bit more B.B. King, right? Kind of giving that away a little bit sooner and not building so much tension. If you take all of those things into consideration, okay, do I know what I'm saying? Am I building enough tension and then release? Am I playing it with force? Am I holding back? Am I playing it nice and flowy? Legato's going to have a more flowy feel. Reminds me of, the... That very, very flowy sound. Not a lot of high volume, no staccato, and flows right into each other. Another little slashing. That's why when I feel like he switches to the blues and that blues sound, that sort of carries over. Stevie Ray Vaughan has that very aggressive sound. Albert King has a pretty aggressive sound with it. Kind of really picks in. Those are things not just that you can start messing around with, but can you hear those in your favorite guitar players? And are you going to start to adapt those into your playing? And then the last is the construction of the phrase. Do I really want to stay on those tensions? Do I really want to hold off before I get to the resolution? And that becomes a little bit more in the rhythm. A simple that I was playing before could be... That simple phrase can be the bones of that phrase. It can be the same exact phrase dressed up a little bit more. And if you make those rhythms compelling, which just means getting away from 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, right? We're making it rhythmically more compelling while changing the notes around just a little bit so you're not getting lost. That's what I love about a lot of this stuff. When we hear somebody really ripping on guitar, in our minds we sort of think and when we're starting, right? It's they're going up and down. No, they're really just playing a couple of phrases that they know dressed up. I mean, especially that... Right, that kind of stuff, And then if I just have a tension and a release, there's a million different ways that I could play that. Not just in phase 2, loud, soft, staccato, holding out the notes, playing nice and quietly, however it is that I want to do it. Not just in that way, but just... There's so much that's so different than, but it has the same exact, it has the same meaning as far as a call. It's just you're saying a lot more. You know, when you know the language, I don't have to stick to, you know, if I go to Germany, just asking where the bathroom is. Maybe I know the language and I can start embellishing and actually having a conversation. These 3 steps are going to make your solos so much better today, I promise. Learning other guitar solos is sort of a vehicle, right? And a little bit of a deeper lesson within that is understanding their musical choices. And then even more so, understanding why they're saying it. Like the scale itself is sort of a vocabulary, or the theory itself is really just a vocabulary. The phrases are lexical chunks. It's called lexical chunks when you're learning another language, which is you can sort of take what other people are saying in that particular language and adapt it to your own, and you can make those changes. That's why we see a lot of the same types of phrases said so many different ways in our guitar solos, because the solos themselves are conversations and those expressions of like that sort of emotional delivery, you know. So that's why developing your own voice is the best way to start really developing your own voice. Sort of gets away from just learning more scales. You know, it's about how the players that you really like create their meaning using this theory, and then taking that into your own creative voice. You stop copying. You start creating, you know, and combining influences and really modifying those ideas rather than just memorizing, you know, off a tab sheet. You are speaking instead of repeating. The goal is to get away from memorization. And theory itself is just a means to create. It's not the be all end all. And I know that a lot of guitar programs and a lot of guitar teachers treat it that way, you know. In the Fretboard Fluency Mentorship Program that I run, we take the theory, and our main goal is to develop your personal creative voice. You are playing the solos that you want to play the way that you want to play them, bridging the gap between your creative ideas, what you hear in your head, and your ability to get them out through the guitar. And one of the best vehicles is the second pillar, which is, what are your favorite guitar players? How are they using this theory? Can you see where it's coming from? Can you see why they're making those expressive choices with those linguistic choices, and then turning and saying, how do you want to make those expressive choices? If you want to learn a little bit more about the fretboard fluency method, I have a free training, 3 Steps to Full Fretboard Fluency, where I go into this a little bit more, get you out of that sort of boring guitar solo plateau that we all get into. That link is in the description and in the first comment. And if you do feel ready to jump in and see if the Fretboard Fluency Mentorship Program is for you, there's a link to book a free call as well. You can check that out. And I appreciate you staying until the end of the video.